On the streets of Iran, mourners carry a massive banner with the words, "We will kill Trump." And according to the Wall Street Journal, Israel recently shared intelligence with the U.S. that Iran had real plans to do so.
It just reminds us that the Israelis have Iran wired. But it's also nothing we don't know.
I'm number one on the kill list for Iran.
A credible threat may be why President Trump switched airplanes on his way home from the NATO summit in Turkey earlier this week. Although the White House says it was so troops in the UK could see the new Air Force One, a gift from Qatar.
They are emboldened ever since they took the Straits of Hormuz.
The new plot is another sign lasting peace with Iran may be a long shot. But President Trump revealed Friday the Islamic Republic of Iran has asked us to continue talks. We have agreed to do so, but the United States has stated to them in no uncertain terms that the ceasefire is over. Fox is told the Qataris are headed to Iran to try to de-escalate the situation.
The Iranian regime cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. So what we're going to see is a president that is going to make sure that our objective here is fulfilled.
But many Democrats think the administration is floundering.
What's clearly happening is Donald Trump can't stop the war, still can't stop the war that he started.
Iran hasn't attacked any civilian ships in the Strait of Hormuz for the last 3 days, but maritime officials say the threat level is still severe, which is keeping traffic low in the critical waterway. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
A lot of us didn't know very much about Graham Plattner. We knew a little bit more because we know his mother that runs the Ironbound restaurant.
And we eat at the Ironbound restaurant, and we were in fact going to go to a fundraising cocktail party for.
We were both feeling, as more and more stuff came out, we were both feeling a little bit more doubtful. And we appreciate that the excuse that he has some pretty traumatic events in his life, and that maybe that accounted for some of these, but they got to be a little more recent and a little more suggesting maybe a character deficiency that we would not want to have in the Senate.
I just read an article today which said that he wasn't necessarily looking to run, he had been persuaded. And then that, given what's happened, it made me sad for him and his family. Because to be such a limelight and to have so many tragedies unfold publicly for the whole nation, I think that's tough.
If a girl wanted to meet Jeffrey Epstein, you had to go through Leslie Groff.
Just literally tell the truth.
Jeffrey Epstein survivors are outraged and calling out Leslie Groff after the longtime assistant to the convicted child sex offender spoke with the House Oversight Committee last month. CNN interviewed 6 Epstein victims, 2 of them on camera. They said Groff lied to Congress about key details, including whether she ever met any of the girls visiting Epstein or knew how old they were.
She said, quote, "To my knowledge, I never met any of these masseuses." What do you guys think about that?
She's lying. She's lying. Just me and my friends, she's met at least 3 or 4 of us.
I met Leslie multiple times in different locations.
Gathered today and taken the time to.
Marina Lacerda says she first met Epstein in 2002 when she was just shy of turning 14. Charlene Rochard says she was a young model working in New York City when she first met the financier.
Do you have anything that you remember that leads you to think Leslie Groff knew how old you were?
Of course she knew how old we were because she had to look at our IDs to book our flight.
How old is she? Where is she from? What does she look like? Where does she live? Is she going to school? These were top 5 questions by Leslie Groff.
One Epstein survivor who spoke to CNN anonymously says she was 100% certain that Groff knew that she was a minor. "I went to a private Catholic school and she would always ask me to leave school early," the woman told CNN. Because Epstein liked to see her in her school uniform, she said there were many times when Groff saw her wearing her uniform. Another detail from Groff's testimony that multiple women disputed, her claim that she never paid anyone on Epstein's behalf.
I definitely was paid by Leslie because I asked for money all the time. Fresh $100 bills, looks like it just came out the bank. And it was always in a white envelope.
Groff appears in the Epstein files thousands of times, a ubiquitous presence for almost 2 decades in managing Epstein's day-to-day life, from scheduling appointments to arranging travel plans. Groff's lawyer did not respond to CNN's request for comment for this story. Groff has never been charged with the crime and denied to Congress that she ever knew about Epstein's abuse of girls and women. For 18 years, I worked for Dr. Jekyll, but was never permitted to see the true Mr. Hyde, Groff told lawmakers. Mr. Epstein was, in hindsight, a master manipulator and deceiver who separated his legitimate life from his secret life as an abuser. While Groff was not under oath, lying to Congress is a crime. Some Epstein survivors question whether the current congressional investigation might be a dead end.
We have so many people coming in and lying and saying they don't know, they don't remember. Can we just have one person at least come in and take accountability and bring in full transparency?
And a spokeswoman for the House Oversight Committee tells CNN that they are currently reviewing Groff's transcript against the available evidence and that they would welcome any additional evidence from anybody that might have it. The survivors that we spoke with did say that corroboration can be tough to come by, that some of these interactions with Groff would have taken place many years ago when some of these victims were teenagers, and that many of these interactions would have taken place before the proliferation of smartphones. MJ Lee, CNN, Washington, D.C.
The crime scene tape is gone, but questions surrounding the deadly encounter at this East Memphis hotel are far from over. The U.S. Marshal Service says members of the Memphis Safe Task Force came to the Extended Stay America Wednesday to serve an arrest warrant on a fugitive facing felony drug charges. According to the agency, officers gave the suspect, who has been identified as Alfonso Ivy, numerous commands to surrender before forcing their way inside. The Marshal Service says Ivy pointed a handgun at task force members. DEA agents responded by opening fire. Officers provided first aid, but Ivy died. The shooting came just 4 days after another deadly encounter involving members of the National Guard.
This really concerns me because any operation should be thought of before the deployment takes place. What does the beginning look like? What are our goals? What are our objectives? There should be a middle and an end. We don't have any of that for this deployment.
State Representative Gabby Salinas was among a group of local and state leaders who sued Governor Bill Lee last year, arguing his deployment of the Guard violated state law. An appeals court later ruled the plaintiffs did not have legal standing and restored the governor's authority to keep the Guard in Memphis. Salinas says questions raised during that legal fight about the deployment's mission and oversight have never fully been answered.
This process has not been transparent. We have been lied to multiple times.
The Memphis Safe Task Force includes federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies, along with the National Guard. The Marshal Service says the task force will remain in Memphis because dangerous criminals are still on the streets. Salinas acknowledges Memphis has a crime problem, but she wants clearer goals and greater accountability for how the operation is carried out.
Memphis has a crime problem. No one is denying that. But if there was an executive order that said, we have this amount of outstanding warrants, let's put all resources behind getting those people off the streets. But that's not what's happening.
The field has been painted, the menu is set. All eyes are on Major League Baseball's All-Star Weekend, where Citizens Bank Park and the city of Philadelphia take center stage. The home of the Phillies has been turned into the home of Major League Baseball. The All-Star Game logo already painted in center field at Citizens Bank Park.
This is America's pastime, the game's greatest stars, and the birthplace of our country during our 250th anniversary. It doesn't get any bigger or better than that.
Unveiling a custom locally designed Liberty Bell, Major League Baseball and the Phillies kicking off All-Star Weekend that will have a decidedly Philly flair.
The connection to the America's 250 was a real driver behind having the game in 2026 in Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. And I think what you're going to see over the next week is that we've designed all of our events to have some thread of America 250 as part of them.
MLB rolling out some of the must-have All-Star merch, from the sparkly high baseball fashion to special Philly-themed hats. All-Star Weekend has a little something for everyone.
Whether it's the red carpet show up against the backdrop of Independence Hall, whether it's the neighborhood layout at All-Star Village, whether it's celebrating America's history during the All-Star Game festivities. This is our moment.
And it wouldn't be Philly without the local flavor. Fan-selected menu items and dishes from local chefs like pizza, rib melts, sundaes, and yes, cheesesteaks fill the all-star menu. There's also the Feast for the Eyes. Local artist Andre Chaney designed the All-Star Liberty Bell replica on display inside the stadium through the weekend.
The fact that, so many people come into the All-Star game and just come into the city in general, it's surreal. It's very surreal.
For Major League Baseball, the hope is fans leave here remembering more than just a game.
I have no doubt that, again, we're going to see a great event capping off an incredible summer here in Philadelphia and hopefully creating memories, and people can look back and say, I was part of Philadelphia All-Star Game and I experienced the amazingness of what baseball has to offer.
And keep in mind, this is much more than just a single game. This is a 5-day event. Tuesday night's Midsummer Classic, which you can see right here on Fox, is just the finale in a series of weekend-long events around the All-Star Game. In South Philly, Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
It was a beautiful match, well played by France, very patient, structured, worked it round, and created a lot of opportunities, capitalized on those with 2 goals. Morocco was a little bit unfortunate, they were just a little bit slower, got beat to the ball, didn't have the urgency that France showed. So.
It's going to be the 3rd time in a row that we go to the semi-final. And I think we have a good chance to go to the final. And this time we need to say that I think, we know the cycle of dominance. I think France is part of the dominant team in the football for the past 20 years, but that's going to come to an end. And we need to win this one before, team change and the coach is changing and everything. We need this one to close this cycle.
I'm Moroccan, supporting Morocco, of course. I'm so proud to be Moroccan, and I'm so proud of my team, so proud of my country. I'm happy with everything they did, but today, no. I'm not happy with what happened. It's not because we lost against France, but because I feel there's something not going right with Morocco. That's not how they play. That's not how we got used to them to play.
Morocco, really, this time, I love Morocco, but this time, really, today especially, they don't play like the last game they are doing. We are gathering here and we are seeing all the matches, and I believe this is good for Durban to show how everybody is love the soccer.
For the watch party in this park, I am so proud that all Arab and community here, they're supporting us, supporting Morocco, even they're not Moroccan.
So we sat down to watch the opening match between Mexico and South Africa. And when we turned it on, Fox, we didn't even watch it 5-10 minutes before we immediately flipped it over to Telemundo. And while I can't really understand everything they're saying on Telemundo because they're speaking in Spanish, you understand what's going on. You just know by their commentators, they pick up their pace when things exciting start to happen. They just get overjoyed. They just have a great time talking about the match in general, and it's overall just like way more enjoyable to watch.
The really big thing for me also with Telemundo is that during the hydration break, they don't cut to commercials. Telemundo stays on the field, it stays with the players. These aren't quarters. This is a hydration break. This is not a full pause in the game. So if I'm watching by myself, I make the intentional effort to watch Telemundo because of that.
Turn it, turn it, turn it! So sometimes it is a barrier, especially like when they're handing out yellow and red cards. I have to kind of guess. And then sometimes I can pick up a little bit if they say, la cabeza, or if they're talking about feet, or some of the more common words I can pick up.
Being able to listen to the Spanish broadcast when I'm at work, maybe I'm driving, it brings you closer to the energy and the atmosphere of the game when I can't necessarily always be watching. Yeah, that's so bad.
I'm a little worried when it's over because I've just become so comforted by their tempo and their tone and everything. It's just very comforting. The next World Cup, we're going to watch it just like this.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. This is the ball used at the World Cup, but it's not just any ball. It's pretty high tech and can really swing a match one way or the other. The ball is fitted with a small inertial measurement unit sensor that operates at around 500 Hz and captures data 500 times per second. Some say it's like giving the ball a heartbeat.
This ball, whatever you do to it, whether you kick it, pass it, dribble, everything is being tracked. So every event on the pitch, every location, every rotation, every impact is being tracked by this little thing here.
It can track ball acceleration and granular movements in 3 dimensions and can detect the exact moment a player makes contact. It detects it
globally all around, yeah.
This tech can also help analyze other incidents such as handballs or penalties by providing detailed touch data. A series of stadium tests were done between 2020 and 2022 to check for reliability, and this tech was also used at the 2022 World Cup.
That's something that's a huge win for the global football community. Obviously for the refs, we reduced the time they spent in front of a screen going back and forth frame by frame by 70%. Those situations, they're super stressful for the refs, they're annoying for the players on the pitch, annoying for everyone watching it because they want to see football being played, not a ref standing on the sideline.
South Korean memory chip giant SK Hynix made its U.S. public trading debut. The company is building up its manufacturing capacity to keep up with AI demand. Some say the stock will be a test of investors' belief in the lasting power of the AI boom.
Even though there's a lot of optimism for the IPO, I think there's going to be a lot of caution.
The FDA is trying to limit U.S. reliance on foreign drugs. Current regulations force American companies to register every single production unit as a separate factory. But the federal agency is proposing a new rule that aims to streamline the process while toughening regulation for foreign drug manufacturers. Delta is soaring. The airline reported a second quarter adjusted revenue of more than $17 billion, a record for the airline. The news comes amid rising fuel costs. Company officials say Delta's fuel bill for the year will be $4 billion higher than just a year ago. Several airlines, including Delta, have been passing that cost on to consumers through increased baggage fees. But bad news for flyers. Delta CEO says high ticket prices may be sticking around.
But I think that you're going to continue to see prices stay probably elevated, not at the levels we've seen. And I think you'll see demand continue to be very, very strong.
And do you want fries with that? It's National Fry Day. According to a 2025 survey, more than 60% of Americans consider French fries a main dish. CJ Papa, Fox News.
It's no secret extreme heat puts a strain on the body, but it also burdens the brain.
When we feel hot, we are physically uncomfortable, and it makes it much more difficult to regulate emotions, feel calm, patient, and make decisions.
Psychologist Susan Alberts with Cleveland Clinic says that can make a person feel stressed, irritable, sad, depressed, and anxious.
Heat mimics anxiety. Symptoms such as sweating, racing heart, dizziness. These are common to being overheated and anxious, and your brain can mistake the two.
To halt heat from taking a hit on your mental health, Albert says to first recognize what's happening. If you're feeling irritable or your mood has changed, you may be overheated.
Cool down your body quickly by drinking some cool water or placing a washcloth on your wrist or behind your neck for 60 seconds.
Albert says regulating your body temperature can help you feel calmer. She says to drink cool water throughout the day. Don't wait until you're thirsty. You can also stay hydrated with water-rich foods like frozen grapes, popsicles, or cucumbers, and find ways to get good quality sleep even on hot nights. Take a cool shower before bed. Use fans or blackout curtains.
Anything that is going to help to cool down your bedroom is going to be a game changer for your sleep and your mood during the heat.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
What is Cyclospora? It's a parasite, and it causes diarrhea, weeks of diarrhea in people who are infected. The way that people usually are infected is through contaminated water and produce, really irrigation water, and ends up on lettuce, raspberries, different types of produce. Authorities haven't established what the source of the parasite is. They haven't found a particular type of produce. Because Cyclospora outbreaks have been tied to produce, to certain fruits and vegetables, the recommendation that health authorities are making while they're trying to find the source is to be very careful with produce, to wash it thoroughly. If you're able to cook it, cook it. If you're buying lettuce, instead of buying bags of shredded lettuce, to buy whole heads of lettuce and then to take off the outer 2 or 3 layers and then wash it very thoroughly. If a person is having diarrhea for days and days, especially given the current surge in Cyclospora, they should consider talking to their doctor. Cyclospora usually is not deadly. It's just awful. And it's treated easily with antibiotics. A lot of the attention has been in Michigan and Ohio, where there's been a lot of clearly identified cases, but there have been investigations in 29 states.
This is the time to show them everything. Make sure they remember you.
The whole Hunger Games franchise is returning to theaters. Each of the first 5 films is set to screen for one night each, beginning September 3rd. Every screening will include a sneak peek at the latest entry, The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, opening November 20th. More info at fathomentertainment.com.
We had a lovely natural chemistry.
Liam Neeson's next film has a new title and a release date. The Fix, formerly titled Hotel Tehran, is due out September 11th. Neeson plays the mentor to a team of CIA operatives attempting a daring rescue. The official teaser is out for Godzilla Minus Zero, the sequel to 2023's Oscar-winning Godzilla Minus One. The King of the Monsters returns to theaters November 6th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel. I'm back. The live-action Moana may be the latest Disney film, but in one sense, it's nothing new. The studio has been mining its animation library for more than 30 years.
I worship fur. Put them in a bag. I'll take them with me now. The puppies are not for sale.
Glenn Close channeled Cruella de Vil for 101 Dalmatians in 1996.
You're absolutely Alice. I'd know you anywhere.
You're all late for tea!
Tim Burton tried his hand at updating 1951's Alice in Wonderland in 2010. Lily James wore the glass slippers of Cinderella in 2015, 65 years after the release of the animated classic.
The jungle is no longer safe for you.
But this is my home!
Jon Favreau combined live action and photorealistic animation for 2016's The Jungle Book. It was the second remake of the 1967 animated film. The first was in 1994.
Have you really read every one of these books?
Some of them are in Greek. The live-action translation of Beauty and the Beast came in 2017. The 1991 original was the first animated film nominated for the Best Picture Oscar.
You have magic.
A trifecta in 2019, Tim Burton returned with Dumbo, a deep cut going back to the 1941 original. Aladdin had Will Smith giving a different genie vibe than Robin Williams did in 1992. And The Lion King brought back Favreau and James Earl Jones, who voiced Mufasa just as he had 25 years earlier.
A true king searches for what he can give.
I just want to know more about them.
2023's The Little Mermaid did its best to duplicate the much-loved 1989 original, and 2025 brought a hit and a miss. Snow White, based on the 1937 classic, fizzled.
He's so cute and fluffy. He is your responsibility. Got it. We promise.
Yeah. But Lilo and Stitch sizzled, becoming the 5th live-action remake to top $1 billion worldwide. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
When a man was alerted to a fire outside his home, he sprang into action. Minus one thing, his pants. Ain't nobody got time for that. When Wesley Howard's fiance alerted him to the fire at midnight outside their Sumner, Washington home, he was naked and decided that clothes would have to wait.
Every second matters, and that fire could have taken off and we could have lost both homes. And at that point, it's like, I don't care if someone sees me naked for a few seconds.
Howard says he fought back the flames for about 5 minutes before running back inside for some shorts. The fire department arrived after, and neither home had any major damage. Thankfully, Howard says he only suffered minor burns to his foot and forearm. Another close call for a homeowner, this time in Ottawa, Kansas. Lightning struck the concrete outside this rural home, sending concrete flying. But what made it worse was the energy conducted from the rebar underneath the cement. Burn marks inside the home shows how close the danger came and how lucky the family is to have escaped unharmed. From protecting your home from natural disasters to natural predators, watch as this man's quick reflexes save him from a charging bear. This man was at his Lake Tahoe home last weekend when his daughter spotted a bear in the garbage can in the garage. When he went outside to check it out with bear spray in hand, the animal rushed him.
And I just kind of caught something out of my left eye, and it was the bear rushing in. We were both startled, and I just kind of shot the spray. And
for Take a Look at This, I'm Mary Maloney.
When Mary Hunter arrived to her 103rd birthday party, she was met with the sound of music.
But I heard the music playing. I said, well, I hope they don't stop as soon as I get there. And I opened the door, and there it was. I said, oh no.
And it only took a few moments for her to join in.
It's amazing that she has lived to be 103. Anyone that lives to be 103 is just totally amazing. I told her, I said, you know, you are almost half as old as the United States. This morning I called her and I said, Mom, I said, you know, they're going to ask you what's the secret to live to be 103. I says, and you have any idea? She goes, no, you just be kind and you help other people and you help yourself and you eat the right foods. And that's pretty much is what she's done all her life. So, I mean, she's living proof of you can do whatever you want to do.
One of the first things that you'll learn about Mary after meeting her is that she loves to learn new things.
Like I'm learning something and it seems hard, I get discouraged, but I can't give up. No, don't try to do it. I keep trying. If it takes me 100 years, I still want to learn it.
And she has her eyes set on what she wants to learn next.
And if someone just gave me a ukulele, I'd like to learn to play it, but I need a teacher.
You're never too old to learn. You know, the saying is you can't teach old dog new tricks. That's a myth. That's not even true. She's living proof of it. She's always wanting to learn. Even if she knows, she wants to improve upon what she already knows.
In that video, I think they were hiking out of the fire on their way back down to their rig, and she just hung out with them all day and followed them back down to their trucks. I don't know that she necessarily helped with the firefighting effort, but it's always cool to see an animal like that who doesn't mind us being there. And I think she was happy we were there. She, like I said, she went around and checked out everybody and was very social.
And just really awesome to see a spark of joy amidst kind of a hard season with a lot of fires and a lot of damage and a lot of heartbreak. So it's fun to get a little glimpse of hope with her in all this and even see on the firefighters' faces.
and we didn't mind her being there at all.
Do you have to deal with animals a lot on the job like this?
Oh, you gotta go on a call. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Thank you so much.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
We looked at how diving birds and robots can move between water and air just with their wings, right? And one of the key challenges here is adapting to the very different densities that you have in air and in water. And the other part that we looked at is the transitions between the environments. So how do you go from air to water, and then even more challenging, how do you go from water to air? And so we use robotics to be able to answer some of these questions. These robots are useful to understand biology, but down the line, we hope that they can also help solve problems in ocean monitoring and lake monitoring. And the reason for that is because today, a lot of the ocean research happens with research vessels, large ships that are expensive to run, and are polluting as well. So we're hoping that some of this monitoring can be replaced by robots that are electric, affordable, efficient, and does not require a boat to deploy. And so you could really imagine at some point in the future that you take these robots out on the shore, throw them into flight, and they cross the distance that you need to your point of interest.
Fox 54 Plus has your news, sports, and weather. Start your evening with Fox 54 at 5:30, delivering the latest headlines and live reports straight from the scene. Then, stay informed with Fox 54 News at 9, featuring your Tennessee Valley certified most accurate weather impact team, tracking everything from tornado threats to traffic delays during severe weather. Fox 54 Sports Extra brings you more of what sports fans crave, with deeper insights, expert analysis, and all the action that matters most. On Fox 54 Plus, you'll also find Alabama politics, plus 24/7 weather radar and real-time forecasts to keep you ahead of the storm. Looking for a quick recap? Don't miss Fox 54 Week in Review, highlighting the biggest stories of the week. Jumpstart your morning with Morning Rush. Fast-paced news updates, featured with uplifting stories from across the globe. Get your entertainment fix with Getting Real, where we break down movie reviews, top 10 lists, and spotlight the newest film. Die Hard fan? Locked On Sports dives deep into the Crimson Tide, the Tigers, college rivalries, and pro action. True crime warrior style? Killer Cases brings you gripping real-life stories that stick with you. Hungry for more? Cooking with Style serves up mouth-watering recipes that are easy to make and impossible to resist. From movie previews before you head to the theater with Take a Look, to must-know headlines from across the region and around the world with In the News. Watch all of these shows on demand and also on the Fox 54 News app. Available on Android and iOS devices. Streaming 24/7.
There's more to Fox 54 Plus with the Locked On Podcast Network. From the Tide to the Tigers, from college teams to pro, the Locked On Podcast Network gives you insights and analysis you just can't find anywhere else.
These kids, they want to play.
But I don't think so. I think it was Chad Baker-Mazzara.
Locked On Sports, streaming every day of the week and right here on Fox 54 Plus.
This is what he's going to tell you.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
The jury and to find the defendant